Hey, do you ever feel like you are not valued or appreciated by your boss, by your colleagues, friends, or even by your family? Do you ever feel like people are just taking you for granted or that they are not taking you seriously? Well, first of all, you'd be surprised how many people feel the same way. And secondly, if you feel like this, you should definitely do something about it, because feeling this way for a long time can do incredible damage to your self-esteem and to your self-confidence. Hey, this is Tomas from okitsnotenough.com, helping you become the best version of yourself and create a more exciting and more fulfilling life. Before we go ahead, press the little subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos where I'm sharing with you various tips and tricks and methods on how you can develop and improve yourself. So now let's talk about not feeling valued. Every time you're facing a problem, ask yourself first, what's really going on here? Because we are often sort of invested and tangled in our problems emotionally, which can very easily skew our perception of reality or seeing what's really going on there. Because there can be a big difference between not feeling valued and not being valued. So let's have a look at those two situations or scenarios and what you can do about it. First is the not feeling valued scenario. When something is not working in your life, when you're upset over something, always check with yourself first. Because the best thing you could find is that the problem or the issue is actually with you. How come? Well, because if the problem is with you, then you can actually do something about it because you have control over what you do. Whereas if the problem is with the world or with the people out there, it's usually going to be much harder to change it or to do something about it. So I will share with you a few questions that you can ask yourself that will guide you to have a little bit better understanding of what's actually going on. The first question is, what's really going on here that's making me feel undervalued? And look at the facts, because sometimes we create whole stories in our own head about what's going on. Recognize the parts of the story, of the narrative that you are filling in, making up, versus what the actual facts are, what's really happening. For example, you're at work and someone brings coffee for everybody, but not for you. And the story that you may be filling in, that you may be creating, making up, is that, well, John didn't get coffee for me because he now hates me because I got my holidays approved and he didn't. Now, can you be 100% sure that this is what's going on? Are there some other possible explanations, such as, well, John didn't get you coffee because you were on holidays and he didn't know that you are returning today? You see, this is a trivial example, just to demonstrate my point. The thing is that we are master storytellers in the stories that we tell ourselves. The problem is that not all the stories that we tell ourselves are happy ones, are not the kind of stories that make us feel better or make us better. Another question that you can ask yourself is, what is it that other people do or don't do that makes you feel underappreciated? If there are some specific people that make you feel this way, then take a moment and isolate or separate all the things that they do that make you feel upset or make you feel undervalued, and weigh them against all the other interactions you've had with them. Are these just a few isolated events, or is it a majority of the interactions with them that make you feel that way? The thing is that we often take good things for granted. When someone treats you well, it becomes a norm over time. And they may have a bad day and there's just something that just rubbed them the wrong way, and they do something that makes you feel upset or maybe undervalued, underappreciated. And we globalize that, we generalize that as if that was the only thing they did. It's very important to always keep things in perspective. Another great question is, am I being treated differently than everyone else? When you feel that someone overlooks you or your skills or contribution, always check whether you are the exception that is being treated that way, or this is just the way they are. Which, by the way, is not an excuse for their behavior. But again, it's important to keep things in perspective, because if this person treats everyone this way, then you don't have to take it personally. And if you are being treated differently than everyone else, in this case a little worse, then you need to ask yourself, why could that be? Because sometimes other people get better, friendlier, preferential treatment simply because the bond between these two people or group of people, whether personal or professional, has been developing for much longer than you being around. So it may not be about you or that there is something wrong with you. It's simply because these people have had more time to develop that connection and that bond. You see, you don't treat everyone equally either. You see, the purpose of all these questions is to help you find out the truth, what's really going on here. And when you're asking yourself these questions and searching for the answers, try your best to not push your own agenda of wanting to be right, but rather finding out the truth. Wouldn't it be great if you found out, after asking and answering all these questions, that there is really nothing going on there, and you just sort of made a bit of a story and got yourself all wound up? Another great question you can ask yourself is being valued even important in this situation? You see, we love to be valued and get recognition, but sometimes we crave it and try to get it no matter what, even in situations where it just doesn't even matter. We just want to win that person or the crowd over. And it's just your ego playing games with you. Don't let your ego drive you crazy. It will never be satisfied, ever. There is not enough recognition in the world that would make you feel, ooh, I have enough now. I can relax. It may feel like this for a little bit, but very quickly the ego will creep up again and say, hey, I would love to be valued, recognized, appreciated, admired, worshipped by those people as well. And what about those people? It's a game you can never win, and it's a perfect recipe for a lifetime of unhappiness. So now let's talk about not being valued kind of situation. So it does happen that people around us don't appreciate who we are and what we do, whether it's your boss, your colleagues, your friends, or even your family. And I will assume in this situation, being valued is actually important. So now I will ask you a few questions again. Hey, are you doing the right thing though? Are you doing what's expected from you? And I'm asking these questions because whether at work or in your personal life, you may be running around trying to do a million different things, trying to impress and please people around you. But are these the right things to do? Do the things that you do even count? Because sometimes we may end up being, as I call it, busy fools, meaning doing lots of things that don't matter. So are you clear on what's expected from you, and are you delivering it? This is particularly important at work because you've been hired and you're getting paid for fulfilling a specific role and delivering specific results. So it's always a good practice to have a regular catch-up with your boss or with your team and ask them whether the things that you do, whether they are the things that they want you to do. Just asking questions like, are they happy with your work? Are they happy with the results that you're delivering? Should you be focusing on something else? Because not everywhere people have regular appraisals and regular catch-ups. And so if you're doing something wrong or you're putting your energy into something that is not really the right thing that's required from you, it's always good to find out as soon as possible what you should be focused on so you can course correct. Now, not feeling valued and appreciated in your personal life can be a little bit tricky. First, a great question to ask yourself is, hey, with the people around you, are you just taking from them or are you also bringing a lot of value? The value you can bring can have many different forms, whether it's your time, your attention, your love, your care, your support, your knowledge, your humor. Make sure that you are not the person who just takes. And if you feel that you're bringing a lot of value into the friendship or your relationship, and it's still not being valued or recognized, ask yourself this. Do these people actually recognize and value what you're bringing into the relationship? You see, we all value different things. And for example, if you wanted to be a friend with me and you wanted to bring value into the friendship by teaching me everything about football, I can guarantee you I will switch off in the middle of the first sentence because I'm just not interested. I don't care about football enough. So you may be putting a lot of energy, but you bring value that I don't value. You see, there would be nothing wrong with you sharing everything about football. I'm just not the kind of person who values that. And this is just a trivial example to demonstrate that sort of logic behind that, because you may be in a relationship or friendship, let's say your relationship, and you have certain ways of expressing love, affection, care, but it may not be what your partner appreciates, wants, or even recognize. And to learn a little bit more about relationships and these different ways we communicate our emotions and love and appreciation, check out the book called 5 Love Languages. They explain the different ways, the 5 different ways how we show our affection, love, and things like that. Because you may be putting so much into your relationship, so much time and effort, and you feel like your partner totally doesn't see that. But you may just not be speaking their love language. You see, everyone around us is a little bit different. We value different things, we like different things, and we expect different things. And while we love being appreciated, valued, recognized, it can be a very tricky game if you don't keep an eye on what's going on, because you can so easily lose yourself in the process of wanting to be liked. It's always great to work on yourself, trying to improve so we bring more value and we then are more valued and appreciated and recognized and so on. But it's super important that you don't corrupt and compromise your own values. The best value you can bring to the people around you is to be a good person who is fair and supportive. That's an excellent foundation for any relationship. And hey, sometimes we just have to accept the bitter truth that some people will not like us, value us, appreciate us, no matter what we do. So that's it for today. I hope it's been useful. Hey, ponder these questions that I asked you and really search for the truth, because we often fill in that situation or the gaps in what we think that's going on with our own narrative. And it's not always helping us. So spend a little bit of time on it. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, press the little button here. And thank you for watching. Always appreciate your attention. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.